What do you get when you throw four boys into a mental obstacle course disguised as education known as Philippine Law School? No, it's not the Hunger Games, but it's close. This is Bar Boys, a 2017 film that asks what happens to friendship, dreams, and identity when you're thrown into one of the most brutal institutions in the country. Today, we're diving into how Bar Boys uses the familiar coming of age genre to dissect elitism, masculinity, and ambition in Philippine society, one failed recit at a time. So, let's meet the boys. There's Eric, the scholarship kid struggling between duty and dream. Turan, the happy-go-lucky boy who's somehow always just fine, even after spending half the semester in a frat house, 2 cases of beer deep, and still passing with a grim. Chris, the devout, straight-laced son of a rich former lawyer. And Josh, the wild card. He applied to law school under family pressure, didn't get in, and somehow landed into showbiz. Kid probably dodged a bullet. At its core, Bar Boys is a movie about survival, but not like Castaway or Squid Game. This is survival of the academic and moral kind. It's about how law school, an elite and high-pressure institution in the Philippines, can stretch your values to their limits and turn friends into rivals, or strangers. Let's talk about law school, or as the film paints it, an institution so brutal it makes you question your life choices every time a professor picks up a class card. Recitations in Bar Boys feel less like a class and more like a legal version of Russian roulette. Professor picks up an index card, and boom! Someone's about to have their dignity publicly executed. It's the kind of fear that makes you question everything: your knowledge, your life choices, and your sikmura. You're basically one wrong answer away from throwing up your dignity and your lunch.
I don't care about what you think.
One of the professors, Professor Hernandez, is every Filipino student's nightmare. Cold, intelligent, and absolutely unforgiving.
5. Very good.
She doesn't just teach the law, she becomes its personification. In fact, she feels more like a symbolic gatekeeper, a judge of not just legal knowledge, but moral worth. Eric, the most economically disadvantaged among the group, has to deal with more than just tough readings. His father's passing leaves him financially and emotionally wrecked. Every tuition payment is a sacrifice. Every wrong answer feels like a failure on behalf of his whole family. Chris, on the other hand, comes from serious money, but also serious pressure. His dad constantly pushed him towards Harvard in talking about him making the wrong decision. Then there's Toran, middle class and has a supportive family. And that's where Bar Boys pulls a sneaky little move. It doesn't just say law school is hard, it asks who gets to suffer through it. How do you push through when everything's stacked against you? And when the pressure hits, can you still do the right thing? But if the law is cold, friendship in Bar Boys is warm. Until it isn't. The real emotional core of the movie is how friendship gets tested by ambition. The study group slowly fractures. Toran coasts, Chris climbs, Eric drowns, and Josh, well, he's in a different movie. In a society where success is often tied to sacrifice, Bar Boys asks, is a sacrifice always worth it? Or more importantly, who are we sacrificing? Let's talk about the elephant in the room. All of the titular Bar Boys are, well, boys. The movie doesn't just focus on friendship. It also offers a low-key but sharp commentary on Filipino masculinity. These boys were raised to be achievers, protectors, and providers. Eric is expected to lift his family out of poverty. Chris is expected to live up to his dad's name. Even Turan, the most carefree of the group, finds himself struggling with the question of justice. Speak up or stay quiet. This pressure isn't always explicit, but it's there, in the silent expectations, in the absence of emotional vulnerability, and in the quiet competition between friends. Bar Boys shows how the performance of masculinity in the Philippines is just another exam to pass. On the surface, Bar Boys end quietly. No big courtroom drama, no righteous takedown of the corrupt, just 4 young men taking their next steps. But there's something under that calm. All the moral compromises they had during law school seemed like they were just part of the process, a necessary evil, maybe even normal. And that's the haunting part. If law school is training you for justice, why does it make you feel like justice is something you have to bend just to survive? But maybe that's the point. Life's not a straight path, it's full of detours. No two journeys look the same. So, what do? You walk your road the best you can, with the people who remind you why you started in the first place. And Josh, he may not have passed the bar exam, but he found his own path. And unlike most people, he stole himself at the end of it. Bar Boys is a rare gem. It's a Filipino film that doesn't just entertain, it reflects. It reflects our obsession with credentials, our complicated friendships, and the quiet, painful ways institutions shape the people inside them. So maybe law school isn't really about justice. It just teaches you how to live with the gray. Thanks for watching Sinisuri. Stay critical and stay out of recits if you haven't read the case.